What is good, YouTube? I am back with another video and a special app to adventure with you guys. And today's topic is FireFox Reality. Now, what is this? As you see, I'm on the Oculus Quest, so it is kind of straightforward. It is a virtual reality web browser. Now, to go over what we got right here, which essentially pops up every time I boot up the app, it'll pop up this tab, and it basically, to crunch it down for you, if you really want to, you can pause and read it, but it basically says they're ending support for FireFox Reality and they're passing it on to Wolfic to create a new virtual reality web browser in the future. So unfortunately, there is no support for this anymore, and you can no longer download it within the Oculus Quest store. I looked around and I still can't find it to my knowledge. So the thing is, for someone who downloaded it before, you can see it still works, which I'm going to go over here in just a second. So, as you see, it kind of seems like your typical web browser, right, on a virtual reality. So I'll go ahead and go over some of the things. I picked up a default game on Cool Math Games. I don't know what kind of web browser they got coming on here, or not web, but like, you have to download like Flash and stuff. I don't know how this would, work, but I'm playing Cool Math Games right here. So it shows you that the web browser is seems pretty competent for a virtual reality browser. But let's go ahead and get into the basic features of it. And there are a lot more advanced things on this web browser that I pretty much need to make other videos on, so I'm going to be running over all of the basics of it. So let's get started. So right here we have a taskbar which has, all the basic features. If you want to return to home, you press here. It'll take you back to this, but a refresh page, all kinds of stuff. We got basically tracking protection on here, which I really could care less. We got ourselves the URL pretty much. The voice commands for this thing suck. Watch this. 360 videos. Bro, like, you literally gave me an example and I gave you the example and you can't tell me the example. That's just crazy. It's probably because I ended support, but that's just funny. As you see, we have a bookmark which will come here, and we will get into this in just a second. We have add-ons, which this is going to be a thing I'll also go over in the bookmarks, but here is window resize. This is one of my favorite features on here. You can make it ginormous, right? And just click right here, and you already have a gigantic tab bar on this web browser. As you see, you can also pretty much have default sizes for it, which is pretty fair, to be quite honest. Another thing is it has a mode called desktop mode, which kind of turns it into a more traditional web browser type, instead of like the virtual reality kind of thing they got going on by default. As you see, it's very similar in many ways. Like, let me go to Google real quick. I'll just look up something on Google. GPA. I was typing in ROG Ally, but I had a brain fart. No, I had a brain fart. So yeah, as you see, it kind of works more a little bit like a desktop, even though they're pretty similar in my opinion. And then we have send tab to device, which this is one of the things that I'll need to make more videos on because I cannot sign into FireFox for some reason. Granted, I signed in on the end of support thing. As you see, there's my account right there. But when I come into the settings and try signing into Mozilla, it will load, act like it's loading. I didn't give it much time, to be quite fair, but it just wouldn't load. So that is what I'll need to make other videos on. But that pretty much just wraps up, I'll just save it to the bookmark, wraps up the taskbar and the basics of running around on this. As you see, Cool Math Games works, which I'll have to really delve into some crazy Flash games, which that is another thing I'll make videos on, just testing out what I can do on this web browser. But with that being said, let's go into the main dish right here, which basically is all the settings right here. As you see, it has the date. It'll even tell you your Wi-Fi connection name, right? It tells me like the little Wi-Fi logo. It'll tell me what internet I'm on. Right here we have left controller from an Oculus. Basically, they basically tell you the battery on them along with the headset itself. So as we go into right here, it'll tell me all the tabs I've been using. Isn't that pretty cool? Right here, we basically have private web browsing, which is all of the same thing except I'm private web browsing, right? I'm just browsing on private tabs. As you see, we're going to come into the bookmark here. Or wait, let's go back to public. What the hell is that? Oh, the audio for the game played. That's funny. Let's close that out. After that, yeah, I was like, where did I leave off? Anyways, as we come into the bookmarks tab, you see everything that I have saved within my bookmarks. It's basically a favorites. As you see, we come into our history, and it basically tells me all the things I've been using on this web browser, right? Of course, you can erase it. As you see, we have downloads list, which is basically another thing I want to get into with this web browser. What kind of stuff can I really download on here? But I really didn't have any topics to think about, but you can download stuff like images and other kinds of files on here. And another thing I'd like to do videos on, because it seems there's a plethora of add-ons we have here, like uBlock Origin, Dark Reader, and it seems pretty much that a lot of these are like security-based programs and stuff. But it is pretty cool to see that they are still on here and available for people who have the FireFox Reality app, right? Anyways, that seems to about wrap up everything within this forgotten virtual reality web browser. I'll probably be making more videos within this web browser, so stay tuned if this really interests you like it does me. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Peace.